Balatro was 2024's Game of the Year.
Balatro.
Balatro made it.
Balatro!
Balatro.
Well, I think it should have been. Balatro is a poker-themed roguelike where you play different hands of cards to score points, modify them with wacky joker cards, and attempt to beat every point requirement. The game, while it may seem unassuming at first, is extremely addictive. Much of this addictiveness and sudden popularity is due to its tight intentional game design, with fun-to-play strategic joker cards, many different ways to spruce up your experience, and times where the game gets absolutely ridiculous. But something about it that I feel is often overlooked is probably one of the game's biggest strengths: juice. Hey, my name's Azir, and today we're going to explore why Balatro feels so good to play. Game juice, or game feel, is a term used in game design that basically means whatever looks or sounds satisfying and responsive. This could mean the plucky noise you get when killing an enemy in Mario, the camera shaking when you dive in Spider-Man, or in Balatro's case, the sweet sound of angels. Juice comes in many forms, and it really depends on what game you're making. Let's understand how Balatro works so we can understand why it looks and sounds like it does. The main objective in the game is to play poker hands to score chips and beat blinds. Each playing card gives a set amount of chips, and each poker hand has a default multiplier value. Blinds are the score requirement to get to the next level, and you beat the game when you get to the last boss blind. After beating blinds, you get paid, and you can spend your money in the shop to buy jokers. These do different things, like the Lusty Joker, which has a couple multiplier points for each playing card with a heart suit in your hand. Now, Balatro is a roguelike. This means that every run, while it has the same objective, is very different from the last. Now, as for game feel, it can be thought of in 4 categories: visuals, sound, gameplay, and music. These 4 categories come together to form a fundamental aspect of any video game, crucial to make it feel satisfying and fun to play. Let's start with the game's visuals. It's a card game, and a big part of what makes traditional card games engaging is their tactility. The developer Local Thunk had to harness this tactility and implement it into his game. This means basically everything in Balatro can be moved, modified, and dragged around the screen to your liking. Jokers, planets, tarot, and playing cards can all be moved, and even the blind logo can be dragged around. This not only helps the game mimic how real cards feel, but it also makes for a crucial game mechanic. Since the cards at the beginning are played first, you've got to toy around with their order so that you get the maximum points possible. The game's art style sort of subverts our expectations of what a card game usually looks like. No boring solid green and white colors here, but instead surreal spinning liquid backgrounds, pixel art cards, and vivid colors. Jokers all have their own distinct image that mix and match with each other and represent their sometimes complicated functionality pretty simply. Take the hologram, for example. Unlike some of the other cards in the game, the graphics don't directly represent its functionality, but this is easily fixed with the hovering description that appears when you go to move or buy a card. I can just talk about all the effects in Balatro all day, but let's take a look at a single hand being played here. Try to spot every effect and, well, thing that's happening on the screen right now. Now, you may have noticed, this gameplay felt kind of empty. Yeah, I mean it's full of eye candy and practically impossible to take your eyes off of, but there's something missing. Let's run it back, but with one crucial difference. Everything makes noise. The cards being selected, the satisfying snap and flapping of the cards as they fly onto the screen, the chips being counted, every card being played, it all has a very specific sound that is carefully chosen to complement the effects. And while this is all an extremely important part of how the game feels to play, we gotta understand why. Game feel is present in practically every game you can play. So this clearly tells us that it's very important. This is because it effectively serves as a bridge between you as a player and the inner workings of the game's design. Take a look at this platformer I made, for example. It's a simple but fun experience. You can easily run around and have a bit of fun with the level design, and when you actually go through it, it's difficult but rewarding. Now let's strip our little alien of every effect, sound and quality of life change that we can. Just the raw game, no bells and whistles. It's still the same game on a technical level, but it fails to communicate many important subconscious aspects of the game. The alien feels stiff, unresponsive, and, to put it simply, pretty lame now. This is because game feel not only involves the cool sounds and pretty effects, but also some actual mechanical changes to characters in the game loop, like adding more buffer time before a jump so that when the player hits an input before he hits the ground, he can actually register jump so it feels responsive. Makes the game feel fair, fun, and satisfying. Game feel in Balatro and any other game can make or break the player's experience and enjoyment of it. Balatro is one of the best recent examples of this, by not only being an incredible game with very addicting mechanics, but showing them to the player in the most satisfying and crunchy way possible. I am not a game design expert, just a dude with a Google Doc and some spare time who happens to love it. So if you want to learn more about game feel and juice, check out the videos I dropped down in the description made by some cool people, who probably know a bit more than I do. Thanks so much for watching. If you have any game in mind that does game feel just right and think I should try it out, feel free to drop a comment. Bye! Heyo, so I've recorded this ending part like 3 or 4 times, and every time I do it, it just sounds really cringe. So, this video took a very long time to make, not because it was exceptionally hard or anything, but because life got in the way. To give you an idea of how much time this has taken since the time I started writing this script, I graduated, the Switch 2 got announced and released, and yeah, I mean, it's been like 4 or 5 months. Thank you so much for sticking around. If you gotten to this point, it's I guess either because you like the video or because you drop your phone behind your bed and now you're listening to me ramble endlessly as you try to pick it back up. But yeah, I'd really appreciate you liking this video if you did, dislike if you didn't, and subscribing if you would like to see more of this content. Hopefully releasing quite more frequently now that I am out of school for a while. And yeah, hope I see you around. Bye!